Hey everyone, welcome back to the Monday Night Pod. It's Fensky here with Tyler. Once again, check out the teaching this week on YouTube. If you go on YouTube and search SNL Summerlin, it'll come right up. Tyler's topic this week was Doeg the Slanderer. So watch that message, watch that through, as this will be in conjunction and going deeper on this week's teaching.
Yeah, I named it Doeg the Slanderer, even though he's called Doeg the Edomite, to highlight just the gravity of the words that he had that and the consequences that came with them. This isn't a teaching that's very popular. Doeg's not a biblical name that's very popular. I poked fun with Bob about that, but one of the things that really just stood out was the heart of Doeg and just the priorities of Doeg and the position that he was in. If you have a heart posture like his, not only do you spew out venom and violence and evil, like Proverbs says, your discernment goes way off. And that's something that I wanted to get into more tonight and didn't have the time to, is this was not the time for him to speak up or take a chance. And everyone else was wise not to do that. And if your heart's not in the right place, if you're not hearing from the Lord, or your priority isn't the Lord, you can start thinking that you're having opportunities and this is your moment. And in reality, it's not, because this opportunity that you're about to take, it's going to ultimately be your demise and going to cause you to sin in ways you never imagined and cause calamity that you never would have imagined. And it's just a really, really sad story, that could have been completely avoided if he just would have shut his mouth.
Yeah, it's good points, and it starts with Saul having a kind of a pity party here, right? We taught on last week just Saul offering the fields and vineyards, right? Offering the money, the commanders of thousands, commanders of hundreds offering position. And in that verse 8, is that why you have all conspired against me? No one tells me when my son makes a covenant with the son of Jesse. None of you is concerned about me, or tells me that my son has incited my servant to lie in wait for me as he does today, which there's a characteristic of a liar there, is they will lie about the very thing that they are doing themselves. Because he says that my son has incited my servant to lie in wait for me, which is factually inaccurate. What's actually happening, if you go back to chapter 19, is Jonathan was reconciling them successfully in chapter 19, 4 and 5, right? Jonathan spoke well of David to Saul his father. Let not the king do wrong to his servant David, right? And then Saul listens to Jonathan, takes his oath. As surely as the Lord lives, David will not be put to death. Of course, that's another thing that he breaks there, and just this pathology of lying, right? Once he got in this pattern of first being fearful of men, causing him to be disobedient to the Lord, and then rebelling against the Lord. Now the lying's really become pathological. Again, this is a type of Satan, and Satan is the father of lies. And you're seeing this heart problem of Saul being manifest in just the lies that he's telling. So he's claiming that his son, Jonathan, has incited David to lie in wait for him as he does today. And of course, it's actually Saul that was lying in wait for David. Saul sent men to David's house to watch it and to kill him in the morning. Chapter 19:11. So the very thing that he's accusing David of is exactly what he has done to David. You can see that in politics a lot. You can see that with how people lie a lot. The very thing that they're doing, they will lie and say somebody else has done this.
Yeah.
They're a bit of an expert in the matter. They've done it themselves, and now they're lying about it, right? And that's how this starts, is Saul having this little to me, this sequence, it's starting with here's the things I can give you, that I can bless you with, that are not going to last. The same deal that Satan tries to promise us. Here's the temporary things that I can bless you with that have no lasting sustainability to them, that are going to collapse from out under you. That's what he's offering. Fields and vineyards that are going to mean nothing in 5 years. Commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds. Position that's going to mean nothing in 5 years, because Saul's kingdom is collapsing out from under him. Right? And then it's the pity party. None of you is concerned about me, right? So woe is me. Why does nobody care about me? That emotion of self-pity that rots us all from the inside out. It's the most destructive emotion. Because as soon as you turn into that victim, now it's, oh, there's nothing I could do about this. I'm completely helpless. I deserve to be soothed. I need this, that, and the other to soothe me. Me. And it's so tough then to have any sort of love of the Father and loving your neighbor when it's all about you. Me, right?
Yeah.
And then the accusation that in this outright lie that Jonathan's incited David. And out of this is now where Doeg is like, now's my time to pipe up.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a lot of lessons in that, but to amplify what you talked on tonight, it's, and you said, the times that it is to shut their mouths, but yeah, when you got a leader feeling sorry for themselves, run. Run. Yeah. That's part of leadership, is that you might have 1 to 2 people, maybe 3, that you can be honest with in your life. Here's what's actually going on. Here's what I'm frustrated about. Here's what I need prayer for. Everybody else either doesn't care or is happy those problems are happening to you. That's part of leadership, is that you absorb that and you still are consistent and disciplined with what you need to do, and nobody knows all these issues that you're going through. Right? And here's Saul, okay, issues that he's created himself through his own incompetence, his own hubris, his own disobedience and rebellion against God. And now woe is me. And here's Doeg to be like, oh, here's my moment.
Yeah.
Right? Versus that's the exact time to shut up. If a leader's going to sit down and have a meeting, here's all his officials around him and just complain. You should be just one eye on your watch and the other daydreaming about something of value, because nothing good's going to come out of that situation.
Yeah.
Let alone you thinking now's the time to pipe up and slander Ahimelech.
Yeah. And that's, to touch back with the discernment, it's like, yeah, that's the guy you're going to put your hope in and run with. Like, he's losing his mind right in front of you. He's the king. And
there's the key, the king.
Yeah.
The king. People are so drawn to title that they often just lose their ability to logically think through what should be happening here, or think with any type of wisdom and discernment. I've seen that over and over, whether it's organizational structure or business structures. But it's like, this person has this title, and people are so drawn to that. They get so sycophantic to that that they don't see the big picture or what God would call them to do. And they make man their God. And they think, well, if I can just kiss up to this person, if I can just slander to this person. So they'll sit there and listen, and then march right down to the office and try to talk to whoever will listen about so-and-so said this. This is what they were saying, right?
Yeah.
Because they think that is their ticket, is this person, because there's a king with the title, not realizing that king is only bestowed from the Lord. This is a position that God has set up, Romans 13. And if the person is not faithful to it, God's going to remove them. Jeremiah 27, Daniel 4. God is sovereign over the kings of men. It's just a matter of time. So as soon as Saul was rebelled against God and was not going to fulfill what God had called him to do, it's just a matter of time. And you're the fool for thinking that this is my ticket, that this guy who's going to be temporary, that I'm going to put my hope in him. But that's exactly what you see, because once again, this is a type of Satan. This is what so many people get caught with on planet Earth, is they're making a deal with the devil, so to speak. And it's like, oh, Satan's going to give me this, Satan's going to give me that. Here's what the world has to offer. And the word is telling you the world and its desires pass away. So there is nothing that Satan's going to give you that's going to pay off in the end. Nothing. Yes, it is possible for Satan to bless you and you get your 15 minutes of fame, but that's what it's going to be. 15 minutes. And here's this eternity to come.
Yeah. There's a lot of overlap with what you went in depth about last week. I think that a lot of this, like you came down to, like you talked about last week, the concept of people pleasing, right? And the fear of men. And so instead of thinking, how do I take God seriously, and how do I fear the Lord and please the Lord, I'm thinking, how do I take the king seriously and get on the king's good side and please
Right.
the king? And
Right.
it's vanity, it'll go. And that's something people struggle with a lot today. How can I kiss up to the person with title and
Yes.
the authority figure and the person
Yeah.
in charge, because that's their God.
Oh, yeah.
And their opinion, that person's opinion, is like the opinion of God.
Real life story from this week. A kid was saying it because he's smart enough to realize that playing one sport year round is not going to benefit him in the future. So he's like, I'm going to go out for the basketball team this winter. And he should be good enough to make the team sit the bench. Excellent.
That's great. Yeah.
Different teammates, different coaches, different experience psychologically, more athleticism. He's practicing every day. That's going to make him, we know statistically that's going to benefit him massively in the future. Mom said no. First of all, he's way too old that mom is supposed to be making a decision on this.
Yeah.
Okay, even if he was wrong in this decision, he's old enough that he's earned the right
To be wrong.
to make the wrong decision.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of this is, he needs to be decoupled from mom, cut the umbilical cord. But then mom said, and that's because he wouldn't have the time to build a relationship with the coach because he would be playing baseball in the fall, not able to, quote, build a relationship with the coach. And one of the older guys said, so you wouldn't be able to pay the coach in the fall, in other words, because they would just pick up with the school season, right? And just go out to the trial and the practice and so on versus doing the whole, school club thing in the fall and cutting him a check.
Yeah.
But it's that's how people think. It's not on my own ability or talent that's going to allow me to make this team. It's off of the, quote, relationship with the coach, that I can cut a check with the coach for 4 months leading up to the tryout, and now he'll put me on the team. Right? But it's it shows you, it's how that gets extrapolated is that when Doeg is here and he's hearing about, here's the money, here's the position, here's the title, instead of realizing that all this is going to crumble and all this is going to be gone in, about 5 years is my guess on the timeline here, maybe 5 to 10 years, okay, before David's going to take it, and this is going to have staying power, right? That Jesus would be the son of David, right? And David would never have fail to have a man on the throne, right? This was going to be the lasting kingdom. Because again, David is a type of Christ, okay? And this kingdom of Saul, which is a type of Satan, is going to crumble and die in spectacular fashion, okay, in a day, right? How suddenly they are swept away, as it says in Psalm 73, right? God works out everything for his own ends, even the wicked for a day of disaster. Okay. But he sees this right in front of him, and it's yeah, I'm going to take that. Yeah. Right? Here's the money, here's the position, here's the title, here's the guy who can give it to me, the king, and I'm going to make this, deal with the devil. Mm-hmm. Right? Because again, like you're saying, it's a lack of fear of the Lord. He's not taking God seriously. Because if you were taking God seriously in this situation, it's because a lot of other people, as you notice, has gone along, like Abigail. She knows that David is going to be the guy, right? She knows this, and she says, Lord will make a lasting dynasty for him, right? So it's there are people that are certainly aware that he's been anointed king, and this is going to be the end conclusion, and they're making the right decision to align themselves with David. Right? Yeah. As we see with the Holy Spirit, bringing guys over to David's side as Ziklag, etc., Abigail, etc., versus Doeg, and here it is in front of me. And I bet, because we don't see this in Scripture, but my guess would certainly be that, yes, Saul probably followed through on here's the fields and vineyards and title for Doeg. And he was going to have a short period of that, and that was going to be it. Yeah. Right? And his lasting legacy is what we see in Psalm 1 Samuel 22 and Psalm 52.
Yeah.
Right? Of a wicked man that is swept down to destruction.
Yeah, that the Lord will make an example of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we'll get into more of that next week. But really good points. Again, this is 1 Samuel 22. Doeg the Edomite killing the priest of Nob. There's a lot to learn from that. Again, this is the Monday Night Pod. Tyler and Fensky, hope you guys have a great and blessed week.